Hello everyone, it's Sippy Cup. I've got a new game to show you guys today. This is Tales of Maj'Eyal, hopefully I pronounced that right, sometimes referred to by the acronym ToME, T-O-M-E. It is a tactical roguelike RPG. So this game's pretty cool. I think it's been out for a little while. There's been several beta builds and release candidates out. It's free, it's open source. I believe that the first full release was relatively recent, I think within the last couple weeks. So here it is. This kind of background thing you see going on here, this is what the game normally looks like. It's in super fast speed. I didn't really like the way this looks, so there's some custom tile sets that you can get on the forums. And the one I'm using is called Old RPG, and it makes it look like a Super Nintendo RPG. You'll see in a second. But I'm just going to jump into it and make a new game here. So I may need you guys to help me decide whether you want this LP to be one kind of continuous one, or a few different characters and kind of show off different classes and things like that. But let me just kind of jump in and show you what the game's about, and you guys can tell me in the comments kind of what you'd like to see from me as far as an LP series for this game. So let's make a new game here, and I'll kind of show you what's going on. Alright, so the first thing you're going to have to do, I'll kind of go through these different options here, is your character creation. So like with most roguelikes, you're going to be able to select a race, and there are some kind of subdivisions here within the races, and then classes. And the classes have these sort of archetypes, and then subclasses under those. So first things first, let's take a look at the different races and kind of what that entails. So for human, there's two different kinds. Over to the right here, you can see some lore and some details on what the stat modifiers are. So for instance, higher, is a human imbued with magic and such, and they get the stat modifiers that you see there: +1 strength, dex, +1 magic, +1 will. They gain 11 life per level, and then you see there they have an experience penalty. That means that they gain only 85% of the XP that they would normally gain. So here is another human subvariety called Cornax. They have basically no stat bonuses, and they gain less life per level, but they have no experience penalty. And they have an advantage that they start out with a category point immediately at birth, and I'll kind of get into what that means. But higher has a racial ability called Gift of the Pureborn that lets them regenerate their wounds. So it's kind of a trade-off. You see, this starts off with an interesting racial that can be used fairly often throughout the game, rather than a kind of a one-time benefit. And they get some bonus stats, and they get more life per level, which will add up over time. But if the level cap is 50, you're really only talking about an extra 50 life over a Cornac. Alright, so then, yeah, I'm not going to go in all of these too much. Probably going to show you a pretty straightforward class off the bat, so that this isn't too crazy. But I'm just going to expand this and kind of show you what I have access to. So yeah, then you've got your halfling, and you've got dwarf, and then these are the classes. So we've got berserker. It's kind of your standard two-hand warrior. Bulwark is like a defensive warrior, sword and shield. Archer, pretty straightforward. Arcane Blade is a magic-using warrior. Then you've got the rogue archetypes. Rogue is just a rogue, dual-wielding, sneaky. Shadow Blade is a magic-using rogue. Then for mage, you've got alchemists. They use, they can throw kind of potion bombs and things like that. They use gemstones. They can summon golems. Archmage is kind of your stereotypical, super elemental caster type. Summoner, they summon, monsters to fight for them. And then Wermick is a warrior that can call on dragon magic and things like that. So for starters, we'll just go with something kind of simple. I'll probably just do, dwarf, berserker, just to kind of show you the basics here. And then you have some choices up here. So I can be male or female. I'll be a male dwarf because they have this sick beard. Difficulty, you've got normal, nightmare. You can see the tooltip here shows what it does. All zone levels get increased by that amount there. All creature talent levels increase. So basically this is going to kick your ass. Easier is pretty easy, but you don't get achievements. We'll go normal. Permadeath. Here, so you have roguelike, which is basically once you die, you're dead forever. Adventure gives you lives basically at each of the levels you see there. So 1, 2, 5, 7, 14, etc. you get an extra life. I'm going to probably go adventure for this because I don't want to have to restart several times throughout the course of this video. Call me casual, whatever. So there's my dwarf berserker. We'll call him Sippy Chalice. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and play. Alright, so first thing you have to do is distribute your initial points. So you have these kind of talents that you have access to. This is going to change depending on 1, your class, and 2, your race. So these racial abilities up here, it's actually kind of a little racial sub-talent tree, is specific to dwarves. So the main one that I have access to right now is Resilience. This gives me a bonus to my armor and spell and physical saves, meaning my kind of resistances sort of, for 8 turns, and then this bonus will increase with my constitution. And then, you know, this is my sort of two-hander tree here. This is going to pump my two-hand damage. This is kind of a signature ability. It's a sustained passive that's going to increase my offense at the expense of my defense. Then this is another two-handed tree that is, it's got some stuns and some debuffs and some big attacks and things like that. Combat techniques, this is kind of a charge, etc., etc. Again, I'm not going to get into this too much, except to say that, as you can see, the interface in this game is kind of leaps and bounds above other roguelikes you may have played. I can't think of a roguelike I've played in recent memory that had an interface this good and this intuitive. Some of the ones I've played recently are, you know, Dungeons of Dreadmore. What are some of the other ones? Oh, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup is another one that's pretty recent that I played a bit. And there's a few others that I can't think of, but anyway, this is all pretty sweet. So here you can see up here you've got generic points, which is this side. So my first point I'm probably going to stick into weapons mastery. This is going to increase my physical power and my weapon damage by 25% when using swords, axes, or maces, and my starting weapon I believe is a two-handed sword. So this is going to right away give me some bonus offense power. Alright. So I get 2 class points that I can spend over here. So Death Dance is like a whirlwind attack, but the thing is marginal utility on each point is kind of low, so I'm going to leave this at 1. What I want to do is probably max out this ability first, Stunning Blow. This is going to stun targets for the number of turns that you see down here, and unfortunately I can't really highlight what I'm talking about with a mouse because I need to be mousing over the tooltip. But if you notice that it says the target is stunned for 3, and then you see it says kind of arrow 4, that is going to show the effectiveness on the next level up of this ability. What I want to do is get the stun duration to be equal to or greater than the cooldown, meaning I can keep things permanently stunned. So I'm going to keep pumping points into this until I can't anymore. Now you see the level requirement is 2. I can't actually put any more points in this until I get to level 2. So the next thing I will do is probably put a point into Rush. This is a charge ability that's going to do some weapon damage on the charge. Now I've got some stat points here, so I can put these into my primary stats for the Berserker, which are Strength and Constitution. So since my Strength is already kind of high, I'll put 1 point in this, and then I'll put 2 points in Constitution. And you see that actually increasing my Strength opened up the ability to put another point into armor training. Since I've already used my generic point, I can't put it in here. I could actually unlearn weapons mastery by right-clicking on this and then putting it into armor, but I'm going to keep it. You'll notice it says up in the upper right there that because a talent was recently learned, you can still unlearn it. Alright, so that should be all my stat distribution. So I'll accept those changes. I just press escape. So here's a little flavor text. I'm not going to worry about it too much. But when I start out as a dwarf, I've got a buddy who's a member of my squad. I'm going to let you read the lore on your own. I'm not going to get into it too much, but basically I got stranded, and I've got one member of my squad that I'm supposed to keep alive. If you are able to keep him alive for a couple of levels here, you get an achievement and some extra XP, I think. So here's an enemy. You can see if I mouse over, you get some info on their stats. This is a giant crystal rat. Got your physical power, spell power, magic power, or no, sorry, that's mind power, and then the saves and everything. So this gives me a breakdown of its kind of capabilities compared to mine. So I believe the yellow, yep, that's its accuracy, power, and then it's got its defensive saves and everything. So we'll just get going here. You're going to kind of control with the numpad. I can just move into it with a numpad, like in this case 3 on the numpad to attack it. So I can either explore manually, or what I've started doing is pressing Z. What Z basically is going to do is going to auto-explore until it finds an enemy or an item or some interesting piece of terrain, and then it's going to stop. But this is basically step by step. It's kind of like, if you're not familiar with the roguelike genre, but you have played the adventure mode of Dwarf Fortress, this should be kind of familiar to you. It's sort of a similar setup. Alright, so that thing, all this stuff is dying pretty easily. Nothing is going to be too challenging at first. So we'll just go through here and kill some of this stuff. As I'm going through, I'll try to demonstrate some of these abilities, but I think most of these things I'm going to just one-shot. So here, now that I've got people on a couple of different corners, I can demonstrate this Death Dance ability. This is going to get all adjacent targets for 176% weapon damage, so if I pop that, I just killed one thing. It looks like I missed this one, and I wounded the Orc Warrior. So I'm going to use Stunning Blow on the Orc Warrior. Looks like it applied, so now I can do some damage to him, and he can't hurt me. Might as well pop my racial passive to negate some damage, and we'll just kill everything. Easy peasy. Collecting gold, killing monsters. Alright. Here's another, who's this guy? Orc Soldier. Try to stun him. Looks like we were successful. This guy's kind of beefy. I'm starting to lose some life. So you've got access to these things called infusions. Infusions are, think of them, I guess, as kind of magic abilities that are not specific to your race and class. The ones that you start out with are, but you can learn a certain number of infusions that is related to your level. And so I think every character class is going to start out with 2 infusions, and which 2 you start out with is going to depend on your class. So for Berserker, I'm going to start out with one that cures physical effects and reduces damage taken for a certain number of turns, and then a heal over time. So I'm going to pop my heal over time because I'm starting to take some damage. I'm going to pop my racial to negate some more damage. I'm going to stun this guy, and he's dead. And now I'll just kind of keep going here. Try to stun him. Whoa, getting low. Pop that heal again. Kill him. Alright. So yeah, when I press Z now, it basically, the first thing it's going to do is rest until I get to full resources, and then it's going to keep exploring. So here I can demonstrate my charge. This rush, I can use rush. Something has to be at least 2 tiles away, but no more than I think 6 or 7. So that just did some damage. Bam, hit him some more. Alright. So I'm just going to keep auto-exploring for the most part here. Oh, this dude's up here on his own. Do not want him to die. Oh, he died. Oh well. I'm a terrible squad mate. No biggie. Stunning blow this guy. Pop my heal. Rush. You really want to keep that guy alive because he does do pretty good damage. So you're going to notice that these abilities use a certain amount of stamina, you can see the stamina cost there is 8.96. This bar up here is my stamina. This number is my current amount and my maximum amount, and then how much my regen per turn is. So if I press 5, that basically tells me to wait a turn in place. You'll see that this goes up. I believe that if it's a fraction, it rounds up. No, it does not. Oh yeah, so I just had to press 5 3 times to get it to go up. That makes sense. Alright, so yeah, you can and will probably run out of your resource. You can find equipment that will regenerate your resources faster. There's even passives that will regenerate my stamina faster, but I want to be careful about running out of that, because other than auto attacking, there's not a whole lot you can do if you run out of stamina as a berserker. And we'll keep going. Okay, so here I found something on the ground. To pick items up, you press G for get. When it goes in your inventory, you can press E for equipment, and then you can see how the inventory is organized. This is my current equipment. Got this great sword, some iron mail armor, a lantern, and that's about it. Really don't start with a whole lot of stuff. So the dagger's not really good for me. Most of my skills require a two-handed weapon to use, so there's really no point to use a dagger, even if it was better. Mind stars, a magical weapon, not going to use it. You'll notice if you press Z to do that kind of auto-explore thing, if you can't explore for some reason, like there's an enemy in sight, it will tell you down here what the reason is. Stop reason, hostile spotted to the south. So got two things down there. What I'm going to do is charge the big guy, pop my racial cooldown, try to stun him, do a whirlwind. Alright, so here's where the tactical thing comes in. I don't want to get surrounded, because every time I perform an action, I'll try to explain this the best way. Most actions take up a turn, and every time I take a turn, enemies get to take turns too. So if I get surrounded by 4 things and I do something that takes a turn, in that one turn I get to do my stunning blow, but each one of these things is going to get to take a turn too, and they're all going to hit me at once, and that's not good. So what I'd like to do is try to make it so that I can only take damage from 1 or 2 of these at a time. And what I can do, pop my heal, is try to get to a point like this where I'm at a corner, or ideally in a narrower corridor where they can only come at me one-on-one. But sometimes in a pinch, a corner will work. So let's see if I can stunning blow the big guy here. And then pop my whirlwind. So now I'm not in a great position. Yeah, this is not good. Oh boy. Oh yeah, see, I died already. Well, I wasn't playing very smart. But yeah, so this is what happens when you're on adventure mode. If that was on roguelike difficulty, that would have just been game over, and I would have to start a new character. But because this is just for demonstration purposes, here I've got some options. You just move into the timekeeper guy, the Eidolon, and I got these choices. I'll say, yeah, I'm ready to go back. I'm done being a dummy. I'll play better this time. Wow, this thing is just really beating me up. Stun and blow him. Yeah, you gotta liberally use your stuns. You can't really face roll in this game as most classes. Some classes more than others you might be able to. Not this one at first. So let's keep exploring. For little things like snakes, you can just take them out pretty easy. Okay, so here I just leveled up. So I can click on this up arrow here, and I can distribute my points. So the only thing I can put a point into that I really care about here is probably armor training. So the reason is that at level 3 I can wear massive plate armor. I don't really care about shields at level 2, but I do care about getting to 3 for that massive plate armor. It's going to give me much better armor protection. So then I will take this class point and drop another one into stunning blow. That is going to bump the stun duration up to 5. So I probably want to get up this up to 4, then the duration is 7. I'll leave it there and start working on some other things. So stats, I want to do some more damage, so I'm going to pump that all 3 of the stat points into strength for now. And we'll keep moving on. So what do I see here? Object. Okay, so I got a pair of boots. Iron boots of tirelessness. Let's see what they do. Alright, so it gives me armor, a little bit of fatigue. I gain stamina each turn, and my maximum stamina would go up. So I'll wield those. I found another buddy to kill. So here I'm going to charge this guy, stun him, and then kill him. And what is this? Iron shots. So let's see, ammunition. I don't really use ranged weapons as a berserker, but ammunition you can equip in this ammo slot, and then it could just be used as kind of a stat boost even if you don't use it as anything else. Some of them have stats that you can benefit from even when you're not shooting them. Whoa. I have a tendency to do this, just mashing auto attack stupidly. I should not do that. Dangerous. Alright, so killing everything in here. I want to explore this dungeon fully because in order to get the maximum amount of XP possible. Oh, here. I don't want to get surrounded again. I was just blinded. You can mouse over these tooltips and see what's going on here. Blinded. My mental save is reduced. Whoop. Alright, I can kill these things one-on-one until they start doing that. There's an archer down there, son of a bitch. Oh god. I don't want to die again. It's too soon to die. Come on, live. Stunning blow. Kill him. Yeah, alright. What was that? Oh, I picked up a zircon. And keep exploring. There's... Whoa. Some stuff there. These little worm things are pretty easy to kill. Alright, what do I find here? Pickaxe. Miner's iron pickaxe. Gives me more infravision radius and lets me dig in walls. Okay. Stun. Beat him. Right. Rough leather armor. Find here. War axe. I'm just gonna pick up stuff so I can sell it later. Alright, so that's basically the end of this level. So now I get the down here. This game is really good about telling you what you need to press. That's one of the things I really like. With a lot of other roguelikes, you know, you kind of have these massive hotkey lists that you have to memorize for every single action. You know, Q to quaff a potion, or you know, God knows what else. Here, you know, it told me right when I moved on to it that I needed to press the pointy brackets, which will be familiar to you if you have played Dwarf Fortress. And here. Whoa, I just got blinded. I'm gonna pop my cooldown and my heal so I can... Alright, I'll stun this guy. See, I think the reason this is hard is because I let my guy die. He does really good damage and it makes your life a lot easier if you can keep him alive. I just let him get surrounded like a jerk and then slaughtered. Oh Jesus. Oh god. No. Oh. Oh, what? Keeps trying to stunning blow people that are too far away. I hate you freaking archers. Goodness gracious. Alright. So yeah, anyway, well that's about as much of the sort of basic intro stuff as I'm going to demonstrate right now. So some some things to kind of cover. As I pointed out at the beginning of the video, you only have access to certain classes. I'm going to save this and exit just to show you something. You only have access to certain races and classes at the start of the game, but as you progress through the game, you are going to unlock new stuff. So I'll start a new game again just to show you what I mean. So there's a couple of races here that are locked. There's 2 undead races and 1 race called a yeek that I can unlock, and then here there's other categories. So like I think under mage I can get a necromancer. There's some entirely other categories in here that you can get by performing certain feats in the course of the campaign. I think the Wyrmik that I unlocked was from eating a certain item at around level 12 or 13 in the course of the main game. That one was, you know, kind of a no-brainer. The item even tells you if you eat this, something special might happen. I ate it and then I unlocked this class. Archmage was pretty simple too. There was somebody you talked to, they said they wanted a certain item, give them an item, bam, Archmage unlocked. Some of them are a lot harder. I think, for instance, one of the rogue ones, if I remember correctly, requires you to kill like 1,000 humanoids across any of your games. So you just play long enough and you'll unlock it, but it takes a little while. And there's other stuff you can unlock too. There's actually skill categories that you can unlock for the Archmage. For instance, there is they get a fire skill tree, but then they also get a wildfire skill tree, which they can only get by dealing 1,000,000 fire damage as an Archmage. And there's a similar sort of frost tree that you can do with that. So really you just play a lot of different classes and kind of get far in the game and you'll unlock all this stuff eventually. But the main ToME website, it's like te4.org, they have a wiki on there that has details on how to get all the unlocks, if that is your deal. So I guess the question that I wanted to put to you, the viewer, is what is the format of the LP that you would like to see? Do you want me to play on roguelike difficulty, where if I die, I restart another character right away? Maybe that will let me go through a wider variety of classes, because I will probably die early and often, and I can show you guys a bunch of different stuff at the early level of the game. Or would you like to see the adventure difficulty, where I'm going to get some kind of second chances, probably get some characters up higher and show you some later game strategy, and maybe get into some more discussion about, you know, character builds and things like that that might be interesting to some people. So I don't know, let me know what you think. Maybe I'll kind of mix it up and do a little of each. But yeah, that's basically the deal. The game is free. There's no reason not to try it. I'm going to put the link in the video description. Check it out. The game is sweet. I've been having a blast with it, and I see myself playing this game for a long time. So there you go. That's ToME, Tales of Maj'Eyal, however you pronounce it, and more videos to come. Thanks.